Hello, everyone. I am Dr. Alicia with Coaching with Dr. Alicia. And today I have here my homegirl from Gary, Indiana, Crystal Holmes. Welcome, Crystal Holmes.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to say she is a body transformation coach. And that is very exciting because we're here at the end of the year. And I think starting at the beginning of the year, everybody's New Year's resolution is to get their body together. And of course, that's my New Year's resolution every new year. And I think like around February, I get kind of tired out and then I have to kind of grind it through. But anyway, I want to get started. How about you tell everybody a little bit about yourself? What is a body transformation coach and what do we need to know starting the year 2023 that's around the corner?
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Alicia. Thank you for having me. I am Crystal Holmes. Yes, I'm a body transformation coach, but I'm also an attorney. And I kind of thinking, why is an attorney a body transformation coach? Because I lived it. My body was a mess. My mentality was a mess. I had put on a lot of weight I was a stress eater, emotional eater. So I found myself in this place where I was not very well. And I like to say exercise and health found me. And then once I was able to transform my own personal body, and it really helped my mental health as well, the stress, I started helping others. So I'd like to tell folks a body transformation coach is more than just, we all want to lose weight. Yeah. But it's so much more. You got to get in the right mindset. You got to be ready for the journey. And my job is just to guide you and coach you through. I provide motivation. I provide accountability. And just that general guidance that we need sometimes when we're on that weight loss or better health journey.
Oh, that is really interesting. So it's more than just getting your physical health. It's also about your mental health and being inspired to continue on. So that's really interesting. I think like my biggest part is just being motivated.
Yes.
And having somebody who's accountable, like the accountability person here saying, you got to wake up this morning and you got to do this. So if I don't have it scheduled, if I don't have somebody waiting for me and other people asking me what's going on, I have a hard time staying motivated. What do you say to that?
Yeah. I still have a coach. I still have someone that holds me accountable and he pushes me. Like I will push myself to a certain level, but then he knows, hey, I know you could do more. So I tell people it's nothing wrong with having a coach to push you past what you believe your perceived limits are.
Nice. So you always need somebody to push you out of your comfort zone because how are you going to grow?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, well, for me, it's like we were talking about this before we started recording, like how tough it is because I'm a mom. I got 3 children, teenagers who are all 3 kids going in 3 different directions. Not only that, but I'm a wife, so I have my husband that I have to deal with. And then I don't know if you know this, Crystal, but I have 2 jobs. Like you talked about how you're an attorney and you're also a body transformation coach. Well, I'm a couples coach. I work with couples and I'm also a college professor. That's my full-time job. And it's so hard to make meals every day and make sure everybody's eating all the fruits and vegetables. And then you got to worry about whether those vegetables are going to expire in the refrigerator, which they normally do. I'm throwing them in the trash after a few days. Like, what would you say for busy moms like myself to really stay motivated when your kids just want to get up and eat pancakes?
Yeah. So, I'm a mom too. Like you said, I'm a full-time attorney and then I do this. I have my podcast. The first thing is you have to prioritize yourself. Bottom line. I know as moms, we want to put the kids first. We want to put our partners first, but we can't show up as our best selves if we don't take care of ourselves. So like we were saying before we started, I was sharing with you, I'm not suggesting people do this, but I hit the gym at 4 o'clock in the morning every day, because if I can't fit it in after that. If I try to go after work, it's not going to work because my kid has her activities. We got to get dinner ready. We got to do all these things. So prioritize yourself, schedule, whether it's your gym time, your healthy meal planning time, and just you got to make sure you enter this new journey with the right mindset. So if you're not ready, it's okay. But the mindset is key. So first, decide, are you ready? And what do you want? Write down what it is that you want. Do you want to lose weight? Are you doing this because you just really want to live healthier and happier life? What is the goal? And then figure out, okay, how in my life can I structure things so that I can meet this goal? And we say we don't have time. A lot of times we do have time. Think about it. When you're binging whatever, TV show you're watching, could you be on the treadmill? Could you be planning a healthy meal for your family? So those are just some tips. But the main thing is obviously your mindset and prioritize yourself. You got to.
I mean, what you're saying is hitting home, Crystal. It is really hitting home. And so many times, like for me, like I feel guilty. I feel guilty. It's like I want to be able to go to the gym at 7 a.m. and then I'm leaving my kids on the bus stop, before they even go to the bus stop. I'm like backing out of the driveway. They better move out of the way. And I don't know if they've had breakfast in the morning. I don't know if they're missing something. So I end up, sometimes when I put myself first, I end up feeling like really guilty, or I feel bad about it. What do you say to people who feel guilty, or they feel like, oh God, I don't want to be selfish by putting myself first?
I've been there. And I'll share this with you. When I started this journey, I think it was 2008-ish, 2009. I had my daughter in 2011. I got back into the gym. I got back onto healthy eating. And then in 2015, the end of 2015, I accepted a new position. And I almost didn't take this job because I knew that it would affect my gym time. And I know that sounds crazy, but I knew that I needed that time for my mental health to help me with my stress and to keep me on point. I took the job, and of course, it was a slow slide. And I looked up about 2.5 years later, I had put on a lot of weight. I was stressed out. So at the end of 2019, I told myself, I'm getting back in the gym. I'm getting back on point. And I got back in the gym in early 2020. And around that same time, I had my yearly exam. Long story short, I found out that I had an autoimmune disease. So now, after being on this journey, falling off and getting back on, I so recognize and understand the importance of prioritizing myself. I cannot allow myself, my autoimmune disease is in remission now, thank God, but that keeps me going. I gotta keep my health, because the autoimmune disease had me exhausted. I couldn't parent like I wanted to. I couldn't prepare the meals because I was too tired. So if you're, I know you're saying you feel guilty, but if we don't take care of ourselves, we really won't be able to do much of anything. So that's just something I share to keep us, hopefully it will help the listeners, the watchers stay motivated that we gotta take care of ourselves. The kids will be okay if you spend 45 minutes at the gym or whatever it is.
Yeah, that is so cool. It's almost like you can't afford not to put yourself first, because
Right.
how are you going to be if you have diseases and all of these things happening to yourself because you're not eating right, you're not taking care of yourself, And you're no good for anybody if you're tired and sitting on the couch eating junk food. It has an impact on the family, and
It
it
does.
so it makes sense in a way. You're not being selfish, almost like not taking care of yourself is selfish.
Yes.
You're not going to be no good for anyone else. So the selfless thing you can do is put yourself first. Okay, I think I got that now. Anybody tries to say something, I now have an answer. Like told me. And by the way, thank you for sharing your personal story about the autoimmune disease. And I'm real happy that it's in remission. That is a very inspiring story.
Thank you.
So
And that's why I want people, like at first it was about, let's get sexy bodies, let's lose the weight. Now for me, it's so much more. We really got to do better by ourselves for our health.
yes, yes, I love that. So one of the questions I wanted to ask you is that I know I was talking to you about how this weekend I went and cheated and got this machine this lady did on me is supposed to melt away my fat. And I was like, oh, wow, so I can just get this machine to melt my fat away and I don't even have to go to the gym. And I was thinking, wow, this is I felt like I was kind of cheating, but I did it anyway, because I was like, hey, anything that can get me forward in terms of melting the fat away. But, I really was thinking, wow, I felt a little guilty, talk about feeling guilty about cutting corners. But it made me think about, like, what are some of the myths that you think we need to consider when it comes to weight loss in terms of cutting corners or in terms of optimizing our health? What is one thing that you wish that we could learn that we don't know about health?
One thing I think, and I touched on before, is you have to, and I've learned this so much recently with working with clients, you got to have your mindset right. It's one thing to say you want to lose the weight, but it's not easy. It's not an easy journey. And that's why, there are shortcuts out there for us, because it can be hard. It can be hard. It is a commitment. However, if you don't want a shortcut route and you're really trying to, make sure that your health and wellness is prioritized for the long term, it's not easy. It's not easy, but it's doable.
Interesting. So it's back to the mindset. It's how do we motivate our mind? What do we do? I know I like to use accountability. I like to plan my workout. And for some reason, if it's in my calendar, I feel like I have to do. I don't know why. It's like, oh, I've scheduled this time to do this. I must do this. So it's a trick that I play with myself. But what can we do to get our mindset at the place where we can really focus on our health holistically, like what you're talking about?
Yeah. I think you have to figure out, what is your why?
Yeah.
Write down and really, and a lot of people don't do this, but really write down, what is your why? Why do you want to go on this journey? And then ask yourself, are you really prepared? Because as your coach, there's certain things I'm going to tell you, you can't have. You can't have Oreos. We're going to cut back on alcohol.
Yeah.
There's certain things we're going to do that I'm going to require of you. And you have to make that determination. Can you do that? Are you ready to make that commitment right now for yourself? And here's the thing, if you're not ready right now, that's okay. That's okay. But that's the first thing, is to be completely honest with yourself. Write out what it is your goal. Do you want to lose weight for a reunion? Are you getting married? Or do you have, I tend to work with people that have, not bigger goals, but, they may have a chronic disease, for example, that they're trying to get healthier. They're trying to get their bodies healthier so that they can manage that. So find out what your why is, and then ask yourself, are you willing to sacrifice? Can you sacrifice for 90 days? Can you sacrifice for 6 months? You know, and that really, if you can write that down and be clear about what your why is, that really helps with mindset.
I mean, this is so cool because as you're talking, I'm a couples therapist. And so I feel like I say this to a lot of my couples. It's like, why? Why are you married? It's like,
Yes.
I want to say that. I want to say you have to sacrifice things to be married to someone. It's like you have to get rid of your single lifestyle. You can't be married and then expect to have one foot into the single world. Like, there are some things that you need to do that married people do. And there are things that you have to be responsible for. It's a different type of responsibility. So you have to say goodbye to the single self and say hello to the married self. And that is a mindset. I always talk
Yeah.
how marriage is in the mind. It's in your subconscious. You have got to get into marriage life. You can't.
Right. And it's a choice. I try to teach people things that are sustainable. I like myself, I don't want to fall off the wagon again. You know what I mean? I don't want people to be on this up and down, roller coaster of they lose weight, then they gain it back. They lose weight, then they gain it back. New year, new me. Okay. I want people to be on a path where it's pretty steady. They've lost the weight, they keep it off, they're maintaining their health. And in order to do that, it takes a complete mind shift for many of us. You completely restructuring how you're doing things. And that's hard. Like, even though I've been in this for I don't know how many years now, I go to my mom's for Thanksgiving and they're looking at me like, you're not going to eat that? Why aren't you eating it? Why? And I'm like, yo, number one, I have autoimmune disease. Can't have that. Number two, I'm trying to live healthier. So you're going to get pushback from those that love you, from society. Are you going to be ready for that? Because it's going to happen.
That's interesting. It's almost like talking to my couples, like, okay, you can go to the club, but you got to still be married. You can't do single stuff when you go to
Right.
the club. It's almost like saying no to that because you're committed to the bigger picture of a healthier you. You're committed to a bigger picture of a healthier marriage. I mean, it all kind of plays hand in hand. And one thing that you said that really inspired me was the fact that you fell off the wagon. And
Mhm.
I think that when you fall off the wagon and you start going back to these old patterns, coming back on the wagon, it's almost like you're stronger and smarter. And the relapse almost helped you, like you're
Yes.
crystal.
Yes. I mean, I would never, you know, wish an autoimmune disease on anyone. However, it did make me smarter. It made me stronger. It made me want to help people more. It made me realize just how fragile our health is. One minute we're thriving, the next minute we may not be. So yeah, it was definitely a blessing. I will say that.
Yeah, I mean, well, not in the moment, but now looking back,
Right.
now
Right.
that was a blessing, but I don't need to go back there. I've learned
No,
that lesson. I don't need to go back and relearn that particular.
no.
This has been so much fun, Crystal. I'm inspired. I really am. I was talking to you about working out every single morning, going to the gym every single morning. I'm inspired. So that's something that I think I'm going to make this commitment to do and not just kind of doing it in the house. Sometimes if I do it in the house, I'll go, I'll just do it later. And then the day gets away from me and I never do it at all. So I really am inspired. So I wanted to know, what's your favorite book? And what book would you recommend for people to read?
One thing I kind of read, and I don't know if this is really health related. Maybe it is. Um, and I just started reading it again. I try to read it once a year. The Four Agreements.
Ah, okay.
I think that's just something that it has a lot of gems. Being impeccable with your word, it's just something I like to revisit every year, especially this time of year, because now we're entering into 2023, and it just helps me to get my mindset right for, the coming year and how I can just be better.
I love that. The four agreements. And you could probably read that whole book in a setting because it's
Yes.
that long. It is
Yes.
right to the point. The four agreements. I have that book and I have read that book. I might reread it now.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I read it years ago and I wasn't mindset. I wasn't in the right space mentally when I first read it to really receive it. And I read it again later and it was like, oh my God. Yeah.
Interesting. So keep reading it over and over again. You become a different person. So you pull out different things from that book because there's so many jewels in there. It is chock full of jewels.
Yeah.
Interesting. I like
Yeah. As we grow, we change. So I definitely wasn't ready to receive it back then, whenever that was, I first read it. But now it's like, wow, you know.
that's cool. It's been so nice talking to you today. Tell
Thank you.
everybody how they can reach you to get their body transformed.
Okay, so I put out a ton of free content. I have a podcast called Go Hard Chick. It's designed for women who want to live healthier and happier lives. We talk about everything from weight loss to relationships. You've been a guest on there. Um, Sex. I mean, we talk about everything, parental relationships, trauma. So we got a lot of great episodes lined up for 2023. Also, you can visit my website, gohardchick.com, to learn more about me. I'm on Instagram at Chris, Kris, Alise, Alise, fit. Yeah, so I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much, Crystal. Have a good holiday.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.